Do you believe in secrets? Deep, dark secrets that nobody knows? In Germany, people tell the story of a strange little man who thought that as long as nobody knew his secret, he could cause all kinds of trouble.
It all started with a miller who was very proud. He spent most of his time boasting. He claimed no one could grind flour finer than he could, and he said his wife baked the best pies and cakes. But more than anything, he boasted about his beautiful daughter. One day, one of the king's royal servants was at the mill buying flour for the royal bakery, and he heard the miller bragging.
Thank you, sir. Yes, my daughter's without question the most beautiful girl in the kingdom, and also the most intelligent. Yes, she's very clever. Why, she's so clever, she can spin straw into gold.
No, she can't.
Oh, yes, she can spin straw like horses eat, into pure gold.
Well, the royal servant knew how much the king loved gold. So when he returned to the palace, he told the king about the miller's silly boast.
He said what?
He said his daughter could spin straw like horses eat, into gold.
Why, that's absurd. He was just telling tales. But I'll teach the miller not to lie, especially not lies about gold. Prepare a tower cell with a spinning wheel and a bale of straw, and bring the miller's daughter to me. We'll see if she can spin gold from straw. Your father says you know how to spin straw into gold. Well, spin this straw into gold by sunrise, or I'll send your father to prison for telling lies.
But wait! How can I spin straw into gold? Nobody can spin straw into gold.
I can.
You can? You mean, it can be done? Could you do it for me?
It's a big job. What prize will you give me if I spin all the straw into gold for you?
Oh, anything. Whatever you like.
Will you give me your charming bracelet?
Yes, certainly. Oh, we can do it! He's changing it to gold!
Now, may I have my prize?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much.
Please, do forget it. I am glad to help.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I didn't know it could be done. Well, how did you... Oh, goodbye.
The next morning, the king arrived expecting to find the miller's crying daughter with the untouched pile of straw. But instead...
There must be some trick. I must test it again, and I'll try for more this time. Remove the gold and lock her up until I return.
And so the miller's daughter spent the entire day locked up wondering what would happen to her. Later that evening, the king came back, and this time he brought with him 5 bales of straw.
Spin this straw into gold by morning, or else.
What am I going to do? If only I knew how to find that kind little man.
Look around. Maybe you'll find me. So, what is the problem now?
The king wants me to do it again.
Oh, more gold, eh? It's a big job. It's a big job. What prize will you give me if I spin all this straw into gold for you?
Anything, whatever you wish.
Will you give me your fascinating silver ring?
It was a gift from my mother, but I will gladly give it to you for your kindness in helping me.
Now, may I have my ring, please?
Yes, of course. Thank you so much. You're a very kind man.
Please, think nothing of it. I am glad to help you.
When the king came the next morning, he was thrilled by the sight of all the gold. He loved the gold so much that he decided not to set the miller's daughter free until she had made him the wealthiest king in the world. That evening, the king returned. This time, he brought enough straw to fill the entire chamber.
If you can spin this room full of straw into gold by morning, I will make you my queen. But if you don't, you will stay locked up in this room for the rest of your life.
That kind little man won't find me again.
But I already found you. So, what prize will you give me if I spin all this straw into gold for you? And you become queen.
Whatever you want. Anything at all. But I have nothing left.
Oh, when you are queen, you will have much.
Oh, yes. Rings and bracelets, furs and hats. You can have anything you want.
Anything?
Yes, anything at all.
Then it's a deal.
Oh, you've done it. Oh, thank you, kind little man.
And now, I will name my prize. You must give me your firstborn child.
What? But I'm not even married.
You soon will be married, and I'll wait.
Amazing. Incredible. I like it. But I can hardly believe it. Your father wasn't lying. Thank you, Miller's daughter. And now you may become my wife.
And they did get married. There was a grand wedding at the palace. The miller's daughter, or I should say the new queen, was so happy and overwhelmed that she forgot all about the little man and the prize he was to claim from her. She did not remember the little man even when she had her first child. But one day...
Hello, I've come to collect my prize. Is it a boy or a girl?
No, you can't mean it. You can have anything. My crown, my palace, whatever you wish. But you can't take my baby.
Just as I thought. But you did make a promise, and you will keep it. You have no power to break this promise. Your only hope is if you can guess my name.
Your name?
Yes, my name. Nobody knows what it is, and my name is the secret to my powers. I'll give you 3 days. You may guess as many times as you like, but if after 3 days you have not guessed my name, I will take your baby.
The unfortunate queen called for her most trusted messenger and sent him to make a list of every unusual name in the kingdom. Then she began reading the books in the royal library, trying to find the name that might be right.
Copernicus, Da Vinci, Ptolemy, Archimedes.
Hello.
Is your name Balthazar?
No.
Is it Engelbert?
No.
Aristotle?
Nope.
Or Garamond?
No, not even close.
Is it Rascal?
The queen continued guessing for almost an hour before the little man vanished. The next day, she tried to think of silly names that the little man might use. When he appeared, she tried all the silly names.
Is your name Spiderlegs? Or Cowribs? Twitter-trot? Or Whoopity-story?
No. Please don't make me laugh.
Is it Jabberwocky? Or Eggs Benedict? Or Oompa Loompa? Or Ewan McTeagle? Or Cornelius Pudding? Or Weebles Wobbling? Or Mortimer Dalrymple? Or Gervais Brookhamster? Dingle Dangle Dongle, or Throat Wobbler Mangrove?
You are running out of time. Don't forget that my next visit will be my last.
Oh, I don't know how I can save my baby.
Your Majesty,
Come in.
I have returned. I traveled throughout the kingdom, my lady, but I had no success finding unusual names. But last night, I stopped to rest my horse on a hillside, and I noticed a fire flickering off in the woods. I went quietly to investigate, and through the trees, I saw the strangest little man dancing around the fire. He kept singing the same song over and over.
Soon I will win our baby from the queen, and I'll make it cook and clean. She'll guess and guess, but she'll lose this game, because Rumpelstiltskin is my name.
The Queen's messenger had done a wonderful thing for her. She was now ready for the little man when he arrived for the last time.
La 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 la.
Why don't you guess? Come on.
Is your name John?
No.
Is it George?
No.
Or Steve?
No. Why don't you give up now?
Is your name Rumpelstiltskin?
No. What? That's not fair! That's not fair! That's not fair!
And Rumpelstiltskin was never seen again.
What makes a story a Rumpelstiltskin story? Well, it has to do with secrets. In a Rumpelstiltskin story, there's always somebody who keeps his name a secret, and the hero can't escape from a bad situation until that name is guessed. Here's a story from Norway that's almost 1,000 years old. In it, there's a saint, a troll, and of course, a secret name.
Once lived a great Norwegian king named Olaf. Olaf was a Viking warrior who became a Christian and who built the first Christian churches in Norway. For his good deeds, he was made a saint. But long before he became a saint, Olaf had in mind to build a really grand church. The only trouble was, all his builders were busy building churches elsewhere. So Olaf had to figure out some other way to build this church. He thought, I wonder if a troll could build my church. Trolls were powerful and dangerous creatures. A single troll had the strength and magic power to build a church all by itself. Olaf knew that there was an ugly troll living nearby, under a footbridge. The troll was very dangerous. Olaf knew that someday that troll would have to go. Now it's well known that every troll loves a bargain. So Olaf made a bargain with the troll. He promised that if the troll would build his church, he would give the troll the sun, the moon, and his own immortal soul. Knowing a bargain when he heard one, the troll quickly agreed. Now, Olaf was no fool. He planned to trick the troll into building the church and then destroy the monster. Month by month, as Olaf watched, the troll built the church. It was huge and had Viking dragons and Christian crosses decorating every corner. But as the months went by, Olaf couldn't think of any way to destroy the monster. Then, one day, Olaf remembered that if you say a troll's name out loud, that troll will turn to stone. That's why trolls keep their names so secret. Olaf decided to find out the troll's name. Olaf followed the troll back to his footbridge. the monster entered a gloomy cave where he lived with his trollish family. Meanwhile, Olaf hid behind a tree. Very soon, the troll's wife and baby came out of the cave. If you thought the troll was mean and ugly, you should have seen his wife. Her baby was even worse. Olaf listened carefully.
Stop your crying, little troll. Tomorrow we'll have fine new gifts to play with. Your father says he'll bring home the sun, the moon, and King Olaf's immortal soul. If he doesn't, I'll get mad. And you know how your father, wind and weather, hates to get me mad.
Aha! Wind and weather. That was the name Olaf needed to hear. He rushed home, and the very next day, just as the troll put the tip on the top of the bell tower, Olaf walked up and said, "Good morning, wind and weather." When the troll heard Olaf speak his name, he roared with fear and anger. But it was too late. The troll instantly turned to stone, tumbled from the high bell tower, and smashed to pieces on the ground. And that's how St. Olaf tricked the troll and got the church built. As for the troll, well, St. Olaf was never one to waste good stone. So he gathered up the troll and built a stone marker that for years stood by the roadside, pointing the way to the church.
Rumpelstiltskin stories go back hundreds of years. There's even a story from ancient Israel where King David of the Bible had to guess somebody's name in order to get out of trouble.
You know the story of David and Goliath. How little David killed the giant with a slingshot. And you might know that David became a king of ancient Israel during the days of the Bible.
But you probably didn't know that Goliath had a younger brother. He was bigger than Goliath and meaner. His name was Ishbi-Benob. He lived in a cave in the desert. That cave was a dark and terrible place, full of snakes and bats and bones. Ishbi-Benob squatted on a pile of bones, thinking up ways to get even with King David for killing his older brother. One day, while hunting, King David chased a deer right into Ishbi-Benob's cave. Ishbi-Benob grabbed him and chained him up.
I'll get even with you for killing my brother.
Is there anything in the world that will make you let me go?
If you can tell me the name of God, then I'll let you go.
Nobody knows the name of God, and nobody ever will.
In that case, I'll just have to throw you to my hungry lions.
Meanwhile, at the royal palace, David's friend, General Abishai, worried about the king. General Abishai summoned 1,000 soldiers and 1,000 horses, 1,000 spear carriers and 1,000 archers with bows and arrows, and they all hurried into the desert to look for King David. Inside the cave, the giant heard a clanking and a rattling and the clatter of 1,000 hooves.
He looked outside and saw General Abishai with the army of Israel. He yanked King David out of the chains,
dragged him out where Abishai could see him. Then he threw King David up into the air, up into the clouds.
To make matters worse, the giant brought out his cage of lions, so that when David finally fell down from the sky, he would land right inside the cage and be killed.
They watched King David rise farther and farther into the air, and at that very moment, they saw a miracle. Up in the sky, the clouds parted, and they saw God himself God leaned forward and whispered his name to King David. Just as he started to fall to earth, David shouted to Ishbi-Benob, "I'll tell you the name of God. God's name is..." But I don't know what King David said, because no one else before or since has ever known God's name. The moment he spoke the name of God, David stopped falling and floated back to earth. When the giant heard the name of God, he knew he was beaten. He stomped on the ground, and he stomped so hard that the desert opened up, and it swallowed Ishbi-Benob. And that giant was never heard from again. It's a good thing the story turned out this way, because if David didn't overhear the name of God, and if he didn't escape from Ishbi-Benob, then he and his wife would never have had a baby boy, and that boy would never have grown up to be wise King Solomon. And history would be different than it is today.
Sometimes it seems as if you can't keep a secret no matter how hard you try. This is Pat Morita. Do I believe in secrets? Well, if I told you, it wouldn't be a secret anymore.
Britannica's Tales Around the World takes us on a magical journey through enchanting tales told to children from the four corners of the globe. And our guide is everyone's favorite, Pat Morita. Our adventure begins when he selects a country, like this one.
In Nigeria, people tell a story in which the fairy godmother is not a woman. In fact, as you'll see, this fairy godmother isn't even human.
Each program takes us to 3 different countries to experience stories from 3 different cultures. Each program begins with a familiar, well-loved children's tale. Just about everyone knows the story of Hansel and Gretel as it's told to children in Germany. But we learn that there's more than one way to tell a tale. In the Philippines, they tell a similar story, where the witch is Baroka, who carries children off to her nest in the mountains. And in a story from Syria, they tell of a beautiful princess who is really a witch in disguise. All 3 of these stories use the same classic ideas, and yet all 3 are magically different. It's 3 times the wonder, 3 times the imagination, 3 times the fun. This beautifully animated series of children's videos brings to life the beloved and enchanting classics Hansel and Gretel, Sleeping Beauty, Rumpelstiltskin, Cinderella, Rapunzel, and Beauty and the Beast. Each of these classic tales is told 3 different ways, each version from a different part of the world. Journey to China, where a magical parrot must save a beautiful maiden from an evil sorcerer. Visit Norway and learn how St. Olaf tricked a dangerous troll. Meet the King of the Frogs in an enchanting tale from the Hausa tribe of Nigeria. Cross the Arctic Ocean and discover how an Eskimo girl named Sedna became a goddess. Explore India and discover the secret of the petrified palace. Venture into a dark cave in Israel and face Ishbi-Benob, the giant who was bigger than Goliath. In Italy, learn the prophecy of the baby princess Talia. See Maria, a little girl from Chile, get a magical star on her forehead. And witness a battle of magic on the island of Malta. All here, a rich international blend of action and mystery, laughter and romance that can only come from tales chosen from around the world. So look for all 6 programs and let Britannica's Tales Around the World bring a world of magic and imagination to you.
After all, it happened to me.